Vincent Cassel. We're here right now talking about Black Swan, which I loved. It's a fantastic film.
Thank you.
Such a great reimagination of Swan Lake by
Definitely.
Darren Aronofsky, as it could only be, right? How did he get you to do this part? How did this all happen?
You didn't have to push me that hard, really.
Yeah.
I was on my way to London. They called me and say, Darren is in London. Would you like to see him? I said, yeah. And we met. He gave me the script. 2 hours later, I called and I said, okay, I'm in.
Yeah, that was it.
Easy.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to work with him
Yeah.
anyways, you know.
Yeah, he's brilliant. Do you have one of his favorite films that you've watched over
I've been
years?
really shocked by Pi, actually.
Right.
The first one I saw. I thought there was something, well, even though it was Brooklyn and all that, you know, I thought it was very European in a good way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you are you're French. Obviously, you
I am.
live in you're married to an Italian, right? And you live in Paris, or we're getting you over here so much, and well, actually, we're in North America. We're in Canada, doesn't really count. But I feel like we're getting you more and more in our American films.
Yeah, no, I travel a lot, that's for sure. I mean, we both travel a lot, let's say. So we are based in Paris, Rio, and Rome, I guess.
So for your part in this, you play kind of like the Balanchine, basically.
Totally.
You're the man that runs the ballet and is in control, and the kind of Svengali to the dancers. How did you prep for that?
Well, first of all, I did train as a dancer for a long time when I was
Did you?
younger. Yeah, I took ballet for like 6 years. My father was a dancer. I spent a lot of time in companies, you know, backstage. From family reasons, I was pretty close to a man called Michael Bennett.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay.
And so I really
brilliant.
had, yeah. So I remember him working a lot, the workshops, the rehearsals and stuff. So, well, it wasn't the ballet world, but it was dancing, and there was still the same kind of hierarchy, you know, towards the dancers and stuff. So I really remember that world really well, and I've been practicing for so long that I knew what it felt like, you know. So I went back to it, you know. I hanged out, had thanks to Benjamin Millepied, the choreographer of the movie, I could go to the opera in Paris and then hang out here not here, but in New York at the New York City Ballet to watch people dancing. Took a bit of classes again, just to, you know, to get fit again. And that's about it, really. The rest is about, you know, our relationship with Natalie.
How accurate do you think it is that Darren, what he captured in the Black Swan, that world?
Oh, in terms of what the ballet world is like, I think it's totally accurate. And I'm sure that dancers, you know, real dancers, will be happy to see the art form portrayed in such a precise way, you know, because you can really feel the pain, you know, because dancing is a lot of pain on a daily basis. And there you can really feel what it's like, you know, the material, the wood, almost the smell of, the, you know, the studio and those stuff. And I think you really catch that very well. Then the rest is about the madness of Natalie's character, and then I guess it's accurate, but it's crazier than
It's
reality.
fantastic. Yeah. Well, there is that one scene when when the Nina is getting adjusted and the hand is like almost all the way up her diaphragm, like, oh, it's your diaphragm, and they're cracking the bones, and you're just like,
That's what it's like.
people don't have any idea. And the crazy thing about the ballet world to me is it's so rarefied in its own little four walls. And Darren got that a little bit when kind of Natalie and the other Lily, the character, go outside and they're like, oh, you're a ballerina? Oh, that's great, whatever. I've never been to the ballet. Like, so many people don't really quite understand what it actually
Especially
takes.
young people.
Right, and the discipline and how many actually make it to being a prima ballerina.
No, it's one of the toughest thing ever. But it's true that the youth today doesn't really, I mean, ballet is like opera, you know, it's something that you have to go to pay your ticket, you know, go to the theater, blah, blah, blah. So I'm sure it's not a very modern thing, except for the people who dance, really.
Right. Do you miss it? Would you have had a career in dance, or were you always wanted to act?
No, I wanted to act. For me, it was actually, I was doing circus, and it's something we had to do with the circus, you know, to know how to present yourself, for the positions, you know, and stuff. So, no, I never really thought I would be a dancer, and plus, every time I would stop to go and act, shoot, whatever I had to do, I was already scared to come back, you know, and get back to the bar, because it was really hard, you know.
It's very tough. How was it working with Natalie? She said that she is kind of like military-like discipline in terms of
It's true.
Her work.
Yeah, that's what she is. I mean, I was impressed by her capacity to work, you know. and especially with the dancing, because that was the toughest part. You know, the physical involvement with dancing for her was like a really, really tough thing, because it was every day between the takes, and plus, you know, you have to warm up, so you have to stay warm, blah blah blah. So the truth is that, I mean, it was very easy to work with Natalie, and she's very straightforward. And when we had to go, because we have all the scenes where we have to kiss, touch, you know, it was very intimate. But you know, it was easy because she doesn't put problems where there's no problem, really. So on that aspect, it was very easy. And then for the rest, you know, I knew she was so concentrated in what she was doing, and she had so much physical work to do, that I didn't want to interfere with that so much, you know. So I was watching her, and then we would act together, and then she would go and rest, because that's what she needed to do.
Right, and continue. How do you find acting in English?
It's easier, you know, always easier.
Getting easier.
Yeah. Well, movies after movies, you know, I'm getting more and more comfortable with the English. So, but it's still a technical thing for me.
Yeah, I was talking to Javier Bardem about that, who also has a film here, and about how, I mean, do you feel like when you act in your native tongue, it's a different experience entirely?
I wouldn't say that. The good thing is that when it's not your language, you don't really pay attention to the words anymore, and I think that's a good thing, because words are just like, you know, the sound. The most important thing is what's happening behind the words, of course. So, well, you know, I mean, English is one thing, but then I acted in Russian, and I mean, I don't speak Russian at all.
Right. Eastern Promises, right? And
actually, I love
Eastern. You're so good in Eastern.
But anyway, so for me, it's just a technical thing. You have to get comfortable with it, and then you can forget about it.
Right. And what are you working on? Are you working on something else now?
I just had a movie yesterday called Our Day Will Come, but it's a young French director. He's known here in the States because he directed that MIA video, you know, with the redheads. Yeah. And that's the subject matter of the movie, really. It's about redheads rebelling against society.
Right.
It's a beautiful movie. And
what is it that makes you decide this is the project for you? I mean, at this point, you must get, you know, you're very well known, you're a very good actor, you have a certain reputation, so I'm sure things must come your way. So how do you decide which to do what and when? It has to do with the director more than anything else, and it needs to have personality and originality for me. You know, that's that's the key things. Is it different than what I've seen before, or is it just another one? Right. That's great. With Darren, it's definitely different. It's definitely different. No, he's amazing. He called this like his companion piece to The Wrestler, and I'm like, well, Darren, what's up? And he's already got, you know, something cooking in his head. Yeah, of course. He's just constantly moving and shifting the pieces, and it's brilliant. And this film is so great. So thank you for coming. It's really nice to meet you. You're such a great actor. Thanks a lot.